The mask was beautiful, gilded, intricate, a work of art that took a master craftsman 3 months to complete. It was also a prison. Lady Isabella had worn it every day for 5 years. Not on her face, on her heart. She smiled when she was expected to smile. She laughed when the court demanded laughter. She danced when the music played, even when her feet were bleeding inside her silk slippers. No one saw the real her. No one asked. Until the night of the masked ball. Until a stranger with storm-gray eyes took her hand and whispered, "I know you are pretending." And for the first time in 5 years, Isabella forgot to wear her mask. If stories of passion, fate, and forbidden love speak to you, subscribe and step deeper into the fire. The great hall of Castle Ravenna was a cathedral of shadow and flame. Candles flickered in iron sconces, their light dancing on tapestries that told stories older than anyone in the room. Outside, the wind howled across the frozen moat, carrying the scent of snow and distant war. But inside, 10 figures sat in a circle around a hearth large enough to roast a wild boar. Pampinea, silver-haired and wise, sat closest to the fire. Her eyes held the weight of 100 loves, some lost, some found, most somewhere in between. Beside her, Philomena traced patterns on the arm of her chair. She was the poet, the dreamer, the one who believed that every ending was really a beginning wearing a disguise. Dioneo lounged against a pillar, his sharp smile a mask for a heart he had learned to protect. He pretended not to believe in love. But his stories always gave him away. Fiammetta, beautiful and hollow, stared into the embers. She was searching for the ghost of a love that had burned her once and left nothing but ashes. Naiphile clutched her rosary, her knuckles white. She still believed in happy endings. It was her greatest strength and her most vulnerable wound. Loretta, sharp-tongued, kept her gaze fixed on the window. On the snow, on the darkness, on anything but the ache in her own chest. Elissa said nothing. She never did. But her eyes moved from face to face, cataloging every sorrow, every secret, every unspoken confession. Panfilo adjusted his spectacles and waited. He was the scholar, the analyst, the one who believed love could be understood if only you took it apart piece by piece. Philostrato sat apart from the others. His love for a woman who would never love him back was carved into the hollows beneath his eyes. And Emilia, the romantic, pressed her hands together as if praying for a happy ending she had stopped believing in years ago. The fire crackled. A log collapsed, sending a cascade of orange sparks toward the vaulted ceiling. "We have spoken of love that saves," Pampinea said. "And love that destroys," Philomena added. "But we have not spoken," Dioneo interjected, "of love that hides in plain sight." "Of masks," Fiammetta whispered. "Of the faces we wear to survive." The room stilled. Even the wind outside seemed to pause. "Tell us," Emilia said. "Tell us of a love that was born in the space between truth and performance." Philomena closed her eyes. When she opened them, she was no longer in the hall. She was somewhere else entirely. Somewhere glittering, somewhere dangerous, somewhere beautiful. "This," she said, "is the story of Lady Isabella and the man who saw through her mask. They called her the Ice Queen of the Southern Court. But he knew she was made of fire. Lady Isabella of House Valdosta had perfected the art of disappearing. In a room full of people, she became what they needed her to be. A listener, a supporter, a mirror. She had learned this skill in childhood when her mother had told her, "A lady does not express opinions. A lady reflects." So she reflected. Back at her father, his ambition. Back at her husband, his vanity. Back at the court, their hunger for gossip and scandal. No one ever saw the woman behind the reflection. No one ever asked. She had been married for 5 years to Lord Cesare of House Montague. He was handsome, powerful, well-connected. He was also a man who had never asked her what she wanted for dinner, let alone what she wanted from life. Their marriage was a transaction, an alliance sealed with a ring and a kiss on the cheek. He had his mistresses. She had her gardens. It was a comfortable arrangement. Comfortable and empty. Like a room filled with beautiful furniture, and no one to sit in it. The masked ball was held on the winter solstice. Every noble house within 100 miles sent representatives. The great hall of Castle Valdosta was transformed into a forest of silk and silver. Chandeliers dripped with crystals that caught the candlelight and scattered it like shattered stars. Musicians played in the gallery, their melodies winding through the crowd like smoke. And everyone wore masks. Not just the physical ones, the gilded, feathered, jeweled confections that hid the upper half of the face. But the other masks too. The masks of politeness, of indifference, of desire disguised as disinterest. Isabella wore a mask of silver filigree, shaped like a crescent moon. Her gown was deep blue, the color of midnight. Her hair was loose, unusual for her, but tonight she had wanted to feel different. Unrecognizable. 3, 1. She stood by the window, watching the dancers spin. Her husband was across the room, whispering something to a woman in a gold mask. Isabella did not mind. She had stopped minding years ago. "You are not dancing," a voice said beside her. She turned. A man stood there, tall and lean, his mask simple black leather. No jewels, no feathers, no pretension. Just the mask. And behind it, eyes the color of storm clouds. Gray, dull, deep, dusty, watching. "I do not dance," she replied. "Everyone dances," he said. "Some with their feet, some with their eyes, some with the way they hold their wine glass to avoid conversation." She looked down at her wine glass. She was holding it exactly as he had described. A shield, a barrier, a signal that said, "Do not approach." "You are observant," she said. "I'm a soldier," he replied. "Observation is the difference between life and death." "And do you consider this ball a battlefield?" He smiled. It was a small smile, sad, almost. "Every gathering of the court is a battlefield," he said. "The weapons are just prettier." His name was Captain Marco. He commanded the garrison at the eastern outpost. He'd been summoned to the capital for reasons no one would explain. He was not handsome in the conventional sense. His nose had been broken at least once. There was a scar on his jaw that disappeared into his collar. His hands were rough, calloused, the hands of a man who had held a sword more often than a wine glass. But his voice was warm. Like honey, like a fire on a winter night. Like something she had been searching for without knowing it. "Why are you standing by the window?" he asked. "Because the air is fresher here." "That is not true," he said gently. "The air is the same. You simply feel safer near the exit." She looked at him sharply. No one had ever said anything like that to her. No one had seen. "You are very direct," she said. "I am very tired," he replied. "Of masks, of performances, of conversations that mean nothing." "Then why are you here?" He looked at her. Really looked at her. Through the silver mask, through the blue gown, through the years of careful performance. "Because I saw you," he said simply. "And I thought, perhaps, she is tired too." They walked in the garden. It was cold. Her breath plumed in the air like smoke. He offered her his cloak. She refused. He insisted. She accepted. The wool was warm. It smelled of him, leather and pine and something else. Something she could not name. "You are married," he said. It was not a question. "Yes," she said. "So is my wife," he replied. She stopped walking. "You are married?" "I was married," he corrected. "She died 3 years ago. The plague." "I'm sorry." "So am I." She was a good woman. Kind, patient. She deserved better than a soldier who was never home. "You blame yourself." "I blame the war, but the war is easier to hate than myself." They stood in silence. The snow began to fall. Soft, silent, forgiving. He reached up and touched her mask. Not the silver one on her face. The invisible one. His fingers hovered near her temple. "I would like to see you," he said. "You are seeing me." "No, I am seeing the version of you that you allow the world to see. I would like to see the other one." He didn't kiss her lips. He confessed his hunger through the trembling space between his fingers and her skin. Through the way he said her name, like it was a prayer and a question. Isabella. Marco. Guy. The snow fell between them. And for the first time in 5 years, Isabella let someone see her. They met in secret after that. In the garden at dawn. In the library at midnight. In a small chapel that no one used, where the candles were always burning low. They talked. They listened. They sat in silence that was not empty but full. Full of everything they could not say. Full of everything they could not do. He told her about the war, about the men he had lost, about the nightmares that woke him screaming. She told him about her marriage, about the loneliness, about the way she had learned to disappear so completely that sometimes she wondered if she existed at all. "You exist," he said. "How do you know?" "Because I see you. When I close my eyes, I see you. When I open them, I look for you. You exist, Isabella. You exist for me." The affair was discovered, of course. These things always are. A servant, a letter, a door left slightly ajar. Lord Cesare was not angry. He was practical. "You will end this," he said, quietly, discreetly. "There will be no scandal." "And if I refuse?" she asked. "Then I will ruin him, his career, his reputation, his life. He is a captain with no powerful family to protect him. I can destroy him with a single letter." She believed him. So she ended it. She met Marco in the chapel for the last time. They stood before the altar. Not to marry. To say goodbye. I cannot lose you, she whispered. You've already lost me, he replied. We were never found. He reached for her. His hands cupped her face. His thumbs brushed her tears away. He didn't kiss her lips. He confessed his devotion through the way he held her, through the way his forehead pressed against hers, through the way he breathed her name one last time. Isabella, ... Marco, ... Then he walked away. And she let him. Because keeping him close would destroy him. And loving him meant letting him go. The fire in the great hall of Castle Ravenna had burned low. The 10 listeners sat in silence, their faces soft with the weight of Philomena's story. Dawn was beginning to paint the windows gray. Did she ever see him again? Emilia asked. Philomena shook her head slowly. No, he was reassigned to the Northern Front. He died in a skirmish 6 months later. She received a letter from his commanding officer. His last words, they said, were her name. A collective sigh moved through the room. Fiammetta wiped a tear from her cheek. Even Dioneo looked away. And Isabella? Naiphyla asked. She wore her mask for the rest of her life, Philomena said. But she never forgot, and sometimes on winter nights when the snow fell, she would stand by the window and remember the man who had seen her. That is not an ending, Emilia protested. That is a tragedy. Perhaps, Philomena agreed, but perhaps it is also a gift, to be seen even once, to be known even briefly, to love even without possession. That is more than many people ever experience. Ampinea stood, her joints creaking. The night is over, she said softly. But the stories are not. They never are. One by one, the 10 figures rose from their chairs. They stretched. They yawned. They looked at each other with eyes that had seen into the depths of each other's souls. Philostrato touched Philomena's shoulder as he passed. Thank you, he said simply. Fiammetta wiped a tear from her cheek and pretended it was nothing. But they all knew. They all knew. Stories were not escapes from life. Stories were life. Distilled, concentrated, made bearable. And as the sun rose over Castle Ravenna, painting the frost-covered stones in shades of gold and rose, the 10 nobles scattered to their chambers. To sleep. To dream. To prepare for the next night, when they would gather again and tell another story of love, of loss, of the masks we wear, and the courage it takes to let someone see behind them. If this story stayed with you, subscribe and return for the next tale of love and fate. For every fire eventually dies. But the stories we tell around it, they burn forever.